Hello again, my dear friend. Before we begin, pause for one long breath. Let it move slowly through your body. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the simple miracle of being alive in this very moment. And its journey is about that, the holiness hidden in the ordinary, the enlightenment folded quietly into the rhythm of everyday life. Have you ever wondered why peace feels easy on a meditation cushion, but impossible in traffic? Why compassion seems simple in theory but vanishes when someone cuts you off or forgets your name? Have you ever thought that spiritual life and daily life are two different roads, one leading upward, the other just running in circles? The Diamond Sutra and countless masters whisper the same answer: they are not two. There is no border between temple and kitchen, between rice and prayer, between breathing and awakening. Let's explore this truth together, that the way, the Dharma, is not a distant mountain but the very ground beneath your feet. Not something you visit on weekends, but something you live in every bite, every word, every act of care. The myth of separation. Most of us grow up believing in separation. We say, this is sacred, that is mundane, this is spiritual, that is worldly. We imagine enlightenment is a shining state far away from our messy schedules. The Diamond Sutra cuts through that illusion like clear wine. It teaches that form and emptiness are not two. That which you call ordinary is the very substance of awakening when seen clearly. When the Buddha washed his bowl, he was practicing. When he begged for food, he was teaching. There was no gap between his daily routine and his realization. Story from Zen tells of a monk who asked his master, "What is enlightenment?" The master replied, "When hungry, eat. When tired, sleep." The monk protested, "But everyone does that." The master smiled, "And not everyone does it with awareness. Awareness is what transforms repetition into revelation." The kitchen as a temple. Imagine an ordinary kitchen, the clatter of pans, the hiss of law, the smell of garlic, nothing mystical, right? Yet in that chaos lies the perfect stage for mindfulness. Every cut of the knife, every stir of the spoon, can be a bell ringing you back to presence. When you wash rice, feel the texture of the grains, the coolness of the water. That touches reality. When you cook, notice how fire and time transform raw into nourishment. That transformation is the Dharma itself, impermanence, interdependence, compassion made edible. A Zen cook once said, "If you cannot see Buddha in a pot of soup, you will not find them in a sutra." You can test this truth. Next time you cook, do it slowly, silently, as though preparing a sacred offering, not to a god, but to life itself. You'll feel how peace hides in simplicity. The marketplace as a meditation hall. The same applies outside. The world is not a distraction, it's a mirror. The noise of the market, the rush of the subway, the chatter of strangers, and all of it reveals your inner state. If you can remain calm amid noise, you've understood stillness. If you can be kind amid crowds, you've understood compassion. Once, a layperson asked a monk, "How can I practice in the city?" The monk said, "Use every sound as a bell. The honk of a horn, the cry of a vendor, the hum of machines, each can wake you up if you listen with awareness instead of resistance." The city is not an obstacle to enlighten, and it is the testing ground of enlightenment. The family is a sink. Many think they need solitude to grow spiritually, yet family life is one of the greatest teachers. Every relationship, parent, partner, child, is a mirror showing your attachment, patience, compassion. Your family doesn't need to share your beliefs for you to practice. They are your practice. When your child cries, when your partner disagrees, when your parent repeats old stories, these are not interruptions, they are opportunities to embody the teachings. The Buddha's compassion was not selective. It included all beings, starting with those closest to him. When you respond to family with patience instead of irritation, that moment contains more truth than hours of chanting done with a restless heart. Remember this, enlightenment doesn't mean escaping relationships, it means loving without conditions within them. A workday as a retreat. You might think, my job is too stressful for mindfulness. But stress is precisely where mindfulness belongs. Every task can be practiced if you bring awareness to it. Typing an email, answering a call, serving a customer. Each act is a chance to cultivate presence. Instead of rushing to finish, bring your full attention to the process. Feel your hands on the keyboard, your breath moving as you speak, your mind's subtle movements between thought and action. Work done in awareness becomes offering. You still earn money, but you also earn understanding. You transform labor into meditation. Sushi once wrote, "When the mind is pure, even chopping wood becomes chanting." The same holds for you. The way doesn't demand you quit your job, it asks you to be awake in it. The nature of integration. So life without dividing sacred and mundane. You must understand interdependence. Every moment is made of countless causes and conditions. Water in your cup once fell as rain. The paper in your notebook once stood as tree. The electricity lighting your screen was born from the burning of stars. When you realize this, gratitude replaces boredom. You stop asking, "When will my spiritual life begin?" Because you see it already has. Right now, reading these words, you're in it. The Diamond Sutra describes this as seeing the world as it truly is. Nothing special, nothing separate. The practice of attention. How do you train this awareness amid daily life? Start small. When eating, don't multitask. Taste each bite fully, chew slowly. Realize that countless lives, plants, animals, farmers made this meal possible. When walking, feel each step touch the ground. Let your breath guide your pace. Your fist supporting. Acknowledge it. When speaking, before words leave your mouth, ask, "Is this kind? Is this necessary?" Speech becomes sacred when guided by compassion. When resting, don't rush to fill silence. Let quiet moments heal you. The pause between activities is the doorway to peace. Over time, awareness becomes second nature. You don't need to force mindfulness, it flows naturally, like breathing. The alchemy of the ordinary. Everything ordinary hides the extraordinary. When you sweep the floor, you're not just cleaning dust, you're clearing the mind. When you fold laundry, you're not just arranging clothes, you're cultivating order within chaos. The act itself doesn't matter, the attitude does. The Buddha taught that intention transforms karma. Meal cooked with love nourishes more than the body. The job done with integrity becomes service. When you live this way, the boundary between practice and life disappears. You realize they were never separate. The hidden teacher in discomfort. We often look for peace by avoiding difficulty, but discomfort is a profound teacher. Traffic, noise, boredom, illness, each can reveal your attachments. When your attention rises, instead of saying, "But this shouldn't happen," say, "This is the moment to practice patience." Esther Gwendolyn once said, "If you only practice when things are easy, your practice is fragile." True practice includes the unwelcome. Try this experiment. When something annoys you, treat it as a bell calling you to awareness. Feel the body tense, the mind react. Then breathe. See how quickly the storm passes when you stop feeding it. This is living the Dharma in rice, oil, and salt, in the heat of daily life, not apart from it. The taste of unity. One evening, Sushi's friend asked him, "When do you feel closest to enlightenment?" Sushi answered, "When I taste my tea fully." He meant that in moments of complete presence, the division between self and world dissolves. The tea brings itself. You can experience this too. Presence makes every act infinite. Washing your hands can feel like washing the whole universe when you do it with awareness. When you no longer think, "This is mundane," the mundane reveals its holiness. The trap of escapism. Some people believe they must withdraw from the world to be spiritual. But if you can find peace in noise, you won't find it in silence. Your compassion breaks under pressure. It was never whole. The Buddha didn't live apart from people, he walked among them, teaching in marketplaces, gardens, streets. The Dharma thrives where life happens. If you think enlightenment means running away, you've missed its essence. Enlightenment means seeing through, not running from. A rhythm of service. One of the deepest ways to merge Dharma and daily life is service. When you help others, you dissolve self-centeredness, washing someone's dishes, listening to their worry, bearing your time. These are not small acts, they are sacred rituals. The Diamond Sutra calls this non-abiding compassion. You act without expecting reward. You serve not to be seen, but because service feels natural when the self softens. Even a single smile can shift karma, because the smallest kindness ripples through unseen hearts. A mirror of impermanence. Life's fragility is what makes it precious, or as spills, all spills, salt dissolves, as so do moments. Each task is temporary, yet complete when done mindfully. When you see impermanence not as threat but as teacher, you stop postponing life. You stop saying, "I'll practice when things calm down." You realize the storm itself is the practice. Every fleeting moment whispers, "If this, too, is sacred." The modern application. In our era of speed and distraction, the call to integrate the sacred into the ordinary is urgent. Technology tempts us to escape the present, but every notification is a bell reminding us to return. You can turn your phone into a mindfulness tool. Before unlocking it, take one breath. Ask, "Why am I opening this?" This tiny pause transforms habit into choice. In this way, the digital world becomes another field of awakening. Stories of everyday enlightenment. There was a woman who sold vegetables by the roadside. Every morning she bowed to our stall before opening it. When asked why, she said, "Because this is my temple. Here I practice honesty, patience, gratitude." There was a janitor in a hospital who cleaned silently while whispering blessings for the sick. She said, "I don't heal with medicine, but I clean for those who do." These people are not monks, but their hearts live in the monastery of awareness. They remind us that the way doesn't require robes, only sincerity. The integration of stillness and motion. Stillness is not absence of motion, it's balance within it. You can be moving, speaking, working, yet remain still inside. That's the fruit of practice. Imagine a spinning wheel again, the rim moves fast, but the center stays still. When your awareness rests at that center, you can move through any chaos calmly. This is what the Diamond Sutra means by non-abiding mind. You engage fully but cling to nothing. Gratitude is practice. Gratitude is the bridge between sacred and ordinary. When you wash dishes, thank the water. When you eat, thank the hands that grew and cooked the food. When you rest, thank the bed and the body that supports you. Gratitude transforms repetition into reverence. It's the simplest prayer and the most profound meditation. By ending each day by naming 3 ordinary things you're thankful for, over time, you'll realize nothing is ordinary, and the world becomes a sutra. The Diamond Sutra is not confined to paper. It's written in every sunrise, every breath, every interaction. You read it whenever you live with awareness. When someone smiles at you, that's a verse. When you forgive, that's a chapter. When you see beauty in impermanence, that's understanding the whole scripture. You don't need to memorize lines. You need to embody them. Let your actions become the ink. The quiet revolution. Living the way in daily life is a quiet revolution. Doesn't shout, doesn't demand, transforms from within. When one person chooses presence over haste, kindness over competition, understanding over judgment, the vibration shifts. Others feel it. World softens. The Buddha's teaching spreads not through words, but through the silent influence of awakened living. You are part of that revolution each time you bring awareness into an ordinary act. Closing the circle. Ice, salt, these are symbols of survival, of life's basic flavor. The way is not found by escaping them, but by seasoning them with mindfulness. So when you next cook, drive, clean, or talk, remember this is the temple, this is the sutra, this is the practice. The sacred hides in plain sight, waiting for your attention to awaken it. Thank you for watching this video. If these words help you see that enlightenment lives in your everyday actions, please like, subscribe, comment, and share it with someone who might need to remember that the ordinary, seen clearly, is already holy.
Before you leave, here's something special. In Buddhism, we believe that every encounter carries a deeper meaning. Would you like to discover your true soul connection, the one written into your destiny? Take the Soulmate Test today and unveil the hidden truths of your journey. Click the link below and begin your path now.
http://soulmate. You wisdom more, come, white.